naturalized US citizen. I got married to my American husband in 2002, and it was in November, and then we applied for my work permit and my green card, and then after a few years, I applied for my citizenship. We lived in Texas when we got married, and we lived there for a long time. We did spend time in other places, but predominantly in Texas. And I remember one trip we used to do work for the city of Del Rio, and we would drive down to Del Rio, and then we would come back, and we would have to go through the stop in Uvalde. The US has a legal right to do checks anywhere along a US border within 100 miles of any kind of border, whether that's land or sea. So Uvalde is almost 100 miles inland if you are coming from Mexico. So anytime you go anywhere near a border, you're going to go through places like Uvalde or El Paso, or even in Miami. You know, if you're coming through, they can check you. USBP can check you anywhere within 100 miles of the US border, even along Canada. Now, we had gone down to Del Rio. We had not crossed the border. We were coming back, and I got stopped going through Uvalde, and they wanted to see my paperwork. And I'm like, I had blonde hair at the time, but I'm like, we didn't leave the border. We didn't leave the US. Why do you need my paperwork? And this is when I learned that anywhere within 100 miles, you should carry paperwork on you. And later on, I ended up working inside a USBP office, not for USBP. I was on a different task force. But yeah, anywhere within 100 miles, Border Patrol can legally ask you for papers. Now, my husband was in the car with me, and he had to explain to them, look, she's not a US citizen. She is here legally. I am her husband. Here is my papers. And eventually they let us go. But any time after that I traveled, literally left my house, I carried my green card with me. And as soon as I got my citizenship, I applied for my paper passport and also for one of these. It sits in your wallet. It is a passport card. You only really need it if you're leaving land borders. But if you're an American, I would highly recommend you have one of these and have it in your passport at all times. Because I know we're all trying to help out our fellow people, and we're doing this whole thing about we shouldn't have to have papers. But the reality is, it's just easier to have papers on you and avoid the conflict. Avoid any kind of confrontation. Just have the papers, show them, be on your way. I mean, if you have time to fuck around and screw with people, that's great. But if you have to be at work, or you're in a hurry, or you're doing anything, just show the papers. Just have the papers on you. This one can fit in your wallet. Never leave the house without it, and just always have it. And you can fuck around with people if you want, but have it on you so that if you do get detained, you can pull it out and be like, look, I am a US citizen. You have to let me go. These are kind of scary times, and I know we all want to help out our friends who maybe have sketchy status, but you also don't want to get dragged into that and end up in Guantanamo or El Salvador alongside your friends. So just carry the papers. Just apply for the card, keep it in your wallet at all times, and just let's not fuck around and find out. As for me, I am back in Australia, and hopefully my husband will be moving here soon, and I don't need to carry one of these on me at all times. Although I do always carry my Australian driver's license, because everywhere you go, people want to see an ID, and so I just carry it. And I'm so used to carrying this one, no matter where I am, anytime I leave the house, I have an ID on me. And you should also just always carry an ID, because what if you're crossing the street and you get hit by a car, or there's some kind of weird terrorist event, or anything could happen. You could have a heart attack. You should always have ID on you so people know who you are and how to contact your loved ones. Because it's fun to be an anarchist, but if shit hits the fan and something happens and nobody knows how to contact your family, that's not fun. Anyway, stay safe out there. Do what you got to do. Help your friends, but also protect yourself. Carry your ID.